Brant has been just the most outstanding coordinator to me. He played the game at the highest level for a long time, and there's never any gray as far as where you stand related to standards and expectations. And we've grown to have a really close relationship, and he appreciates the the professionalism that I bring to the room. It's been an awesome relationship both ways, and I love playing for the guy, and grateful to be here at what feels like an awesome culture, awesome organization. I felt that in New Orleans for so many years, and you can just feel it, and so it's exciting to be a part of something that's where all the guns are pointing in the same direction.
There's a lot of newness to that special teams unit, but Jake Moody is one of the guys who's stuck around. So what have you been your first impressions of him and how to get him back on track?
Look, Jake's great. He probably came back a little too early from his ankle deal last year, and just kind of, some of these elite talents at specialist are kind of like finely tuned, foreign cars. And all of a sudden some cog gets out of whack and it's not back right, and you're trying to work through it, but there's no time to work through it because you're in the middle of the season, but they need you back. Just a tough situation. I'm glad that the team stuck with him last year. There's a reason he was drafted so high. He's super talented, and he's a young guy with a chip on his shoulder who's a little pissed off. And he's looked really good so far in camp. He's been fun to work with. He is a professional. He is not a young kid trying to figure out a routine. So I'm excited for him. That doesn't guarantee results, but he's got a great head on his shoulders, and it's been fun working with him.
Were you at all surprised when the Jets let you go?
How do I answer that? No, well, I know you guys want honest answers. Trust me, I understand that. I wasn't surprised, but I was disappointed. I don't have an agent, so I have always kind of directly communicated with people that I have relationships in the building to just kind of set understanding of like whatever the reality is, and it was just. I know they say they're trying to win this year, but they're starting a new thing, and they kind of cleaned house. I'm about to be 40 next year, and unless you think you've got a shot at the Super Bowl, generally speaking, teams that are in that part of a cycle are probably not looking to build for the future with somebody like me. You don't want to get stuck with a guy that's going to fall off a cliff at some point. I keep pushing that cliff away. It was disappointing. I thought I'd either get released before free agency or I'd have an opportunity to compete and go win that job. But no hard feelings. I'm in a great spot. It's where I want to be. I'm working with people that I love to work with. Brant being one, and Mike Nicolini, the head strength coach, who came from New York. Those are the two people I interface with the most. And so it's kind of like, sometimes you go to a new place, you don't know the dynamics of how things work and the timing of how things are going to work and what expectations are. Like, I know exactly what the expectations are, and I've really enjoyed working with both of those guys. And it was a big reason I went back to New York in 2023 after having been with them for a stint in 21. So, so I'm fired up to be here. No hard feelings. It was disappointing, I guess, is what I would say. But, I've got nothing's ever guaranteed. But, the team has shown through the contract and just the situation that, like, hey, I'm the plan, so I can plan to move my family out here, get schools situated. I got 5 kids. I got a wife, God bless her, that is still kind of okay with me doing this, strange lifestyle. And so those things for me to sign early, I would have just waited till the season started or close to to dial something up if nobody was going to kind of step up with some sort of significant guarantees that I could, plan on being somewhere for the fall. And that's just my family situation now. And so, there were a few teams, but Brant being here really made it a big, that would have been tough to beat, having him here.
What is your training and approach now than, say, like 10 years ago?
I kind of have a cycle. When I was younger, I was training every day, all the time, just lifting weights all the time. I was kind of like the golfers coming up in the early 2000s. All of a sudden, Tiger's lifting weights and he's hitting it further than everybody. It's kind of this new age thing. I kind of felt like one of those guys coming out of college, where it was kind of like a unique, different breed. And you go through an injury, you learn, experience teaches you, you make adjustments, and I kind of went too far down the old, you really need to focus on your rest and your recovery, and you do, but I've kind of come back up, and for the past 5 years or so, more is better. It doesn't necessarily mean more volume but I mean, I'm doing certain lifts. I'm just as strong as I've ever been, and it's certainly why I'm still playing, is because I'm a gym rat, and I've been able to, build out processes for myself that have enabled me to, feel good in August, but feel really good in December, so that if we're making a playoff push, hopefully I'll be at my very best when we're playing in cold weather and, grimier conditions. So I think it's been a huge part of my success is just being strong and staying in the gym. I'd say the biggest changes have been the capacity of what I can handle off the field. I'm not single. I don't not have a family. So like having kids, young kids, wake ups in the night, 2 kids are sick, all that stuff that you have to manage during the season. We just have got a good plan for all that stuff now. And dealing with that sort of anxiousness as a young guy and performance anxiety, once you deal with a few injuries as a veteran, then your mindset shifts to just like, man, if I can just feel good on Sunday, I'm going to play good. And so that's what it's all about, is getting to Sunday feeling physically healthy, feeling good, feeling strong, confident, twitchy, if that's possible at 39. And, that allows you to go out and play with confidence.
What makes Brant Boyer a good special teams coach?
A lot of things. He has real humility. If he's wrong, he'll take accountability just like you'd expect any player on the team to do. He played the game at the highest level. He got cut a bunch. He has empathy for what that's like to be an NFL player. And he had to be counted on in a bunch of different positions, kind of as like a top tier backup that would know every linebacker spot on the field, plus personal protector, slot, guard. He had to know what everybody did, and he could fill in at every slot. And he kind of was like I think he would tell you he probably got a few extra years in playing just because he was a coach on the field and a mentor to help young guys come along. So he gets it. He's played the game. He's able to compartmentalize better than most coaches I've been around. And what I mean by that is he can be hard on you. He can be your boss. He can be the guy that you have to answer to. And then 30 minutes later, he's the guy that's like, hey, should we go grab a beer at the bar and be buddies? He can do both of those. And I don't think most coaches are able to do that. And so he's honest, brutally honest. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And quite honestly, he puts in the hours and the work that are required for him to be prepared. And it's kind of like, it's hard to be mad at any player that makes a mistake that's investing at a higher level than anybody around him. He's just got that old school quality to him. And but I think the biggest thing is just honest transparency. Like, you just always know where you stand. And I wish more coaches that I've worked with in my career were able to do that, or made a decision to do that. And it's something I just so appreciate about him. The job's stressful enough and difficult enough and challenging enough when you don't have trust issues with your coach or people that you deal with. And when you have that, it's just really kind of a special thing that you don't want to, if you have a choice of who you're going to work with, like that would be, it's worth a lot, I guess is what I would say, for quality of life. And just coming to work every day, looking forward to who you're working with is an awesome thing.
Have you ever had an agent?
What's that?
Have you ever had an agent?
I have, yeah.
How did you make the decision?
That's a long story, but I would just say this, without poo-pooing on anybody, that no, without doing that, I would say a thing that really drove me nuts as a player when it came time to have a contract discussion and kind of playing this game of telephone between an intermediary, I didn't like that, and I just felt like if you're respected and you can look people in the eye, at least if they are going to say something like negative or something that you don't want to hear, they have to tell it to you directly. And I just like knowing where I stood with upstairs. And so I certainly don't recommend that for everybody or even most. But I've been around the block, and I've been able to establish good relationships pretty much everywhere I've been, and I think probably it's refreshing for upstairs to just look somebody in the eye if they're capable of doing it, and if they're not, probably not somewhere you want to go to begin with. So it's just kind of a personal preference, and like I said, it's nice to know where you stand, and they can look you in the eye, and you just know what it is. So, all right, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
It's feeling real consistent. Changed my approach from a 3-step to a 2-step, and what that did, at least in my mind, was keep everything kind of shorter and more consistent, as far as less variables of having a third jab step is what I would call it. So just kind of taking that out gets me to the ball a little quicker. I get to kind of see it get down a little sooner. I don't have to leave quite as fast, so it allows me to kind of, really see the ball on the ground and then be able to make some good contact. So I think it's been going really well.
Is that something you toyed with before?
No,
It sounds like kind of a big deal, was it?
yeah. I mean, it's obviously a big change, and talked it through with kicking coaches, other kickers. Pretty much everybody, because last season I felt like my jab step was getting kind of inconsistent. So, a way to kind of fix that is to just eliminate it. And, after speaking with my coaches and different kickers across the league, it seems like a lot of guys transition to that throughout their careers. At least some of the older guys have had success with it. So, hopefully, I'll follow in their footsteps, and it's a good change.
Is there anybody in particular?
So how that works, like what the kind of acclimation period, how long it takes to adjust to it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just normally I like to take a little time off, kind of like an MLB pitcher. After the season's over, you don't throw a ball for a month or so. I usually don't kick a ball for a month or so, but cut the off season a little short because obviously wanted more time to work on it, and went down to Florida for about a month. Working with my kicking coach down there, and kind of worked on the different steps, got to a spot where it felt comfortable, and I can just kind of roll straight into it. And now, having done it so many times, if I try to go back to a 3-step, it feels like I've never done it before. So I feel like I've done it enough times to where now it just feels natural again.
How was your confidence level, Jake, after last season, once the season ended, and where is it now?
Yeah, last season was tough. I wouldn't really say there was, like thoughts about like confidence or anything like that. It was just more so learning experiences and just kind of moving on to the now, not harping on what had happened, but just kind of focusing on the present, talking with people about mindsets to kind of move forward, and having that kind of process over outcome. mindset, and that's kind of helped me just, focus on the task at hand, which is, at the moment that I'm on the field, it's just focus on the kick. Don't worry about the results or anything that might follow.
Morstead just said that he feels like you have a chip on your shoulder now. Would you say that back?
Yeah, I would say so.
Those veteran kickers that you're modeling the change in technique after, who's influenced you as far as those guys who've changed?
Yeah, one of them was Matt Prater. He kind of does like a tiny little third step, but he just kind of picks it up and places it back down. So he's a guy that, I looked up to growing up as a kid. Being from Southeast Michigan, he was playing for the Lions back then. And I know Mason Crosby from the Packers, Vinatieri, guys like that, they all kind of have a shorter approach, just kind of keeping it more compact. If they have enough strength, there's, not the issue of needing to get a super big run up. So just kind of keeping it shorter and simple is, it seems to work for most guys.
How about the kicking competition with Greg? How are you living it?
I'm just kind of focused on what I'm doing. Like I said, just process over outcome. And, whenever I'm on the field, I'm focused on my kick. Whenever I'm not, I'm just, living in the moment, not worried about what other people are doing or anything like that.
Can you explain a little bit more about just this chip on the shoulder? Like all athletes have something to motivate them. What's your motivation? Is it just stem from last year of kind of getting rushed back to kick, or just the nature of competition? What is it?
It's just, I want to prove to myself that, I deserve to be here and that I belong. And it doesn't have anything to do with last year or other people or anything. Like I said, just kind of changed my mindset to just focusing on the now and, doing whatever I can do in the moment to help myself, best make kicks.
You alluded to it a minute ago. So some kickers, you say they do it a three-step. So the sacrifice is maybe a little bit of power. Is that kind of? So did you have to kind of figure out like, hey, I can still generate enough power with the two-step to kick the distances that I need to? Was that part of it? How did you figure that out?
Yeah, that was kind of the discussions I've had with coaches and players, and obviously if you're not getting as far of a run up, you're probably not going to get as much power. I feel like maybe I've sacrificed a yard or two, but nothing like crazy, nothing where I feel like it's going to hinder my performance. And I think overall it's going to be more beneficial to have this two-step approach.
So this isn't something where like if it was 2 yards beyond whatever, you would go back to a three-step. You would always stay with it.
Yeah, I would stay with the two-step, unless it's, like Justin Tucker with his 66-yarder. I don't know if you guys care about kicking that much, but, he took kind of like an extra little step back before he did his run-up. And, maybe in that circumstance I would kind of try to generate more power. But, from the distance that I give, pregame, my line is what I call it, that isn't really going to get affected too much.
What's it like working with Coach Boyer? How do you think he can make you better?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's definitely bringing like a new kind of fire to the special teams group, and having him kind of come in with that kind of mindset and that attitude, it's really helping kind of light a fire. And I think as a unit, not only the specialists but the whole special teams, I think everybody's ready to kind of prove that we can be a really good unit.
Do more, go branch here.
Yeah, last year the numbers, it was a very stark difference, obviously, between before your injury and after your injury. Did you give any thought to like take a little break and just I don't know, just continue to do what I've always done, and because a lot of this has been about that injury.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, that was part of the conversation I had with people is should I just kind of take a break, take a step back, and kind of go back to what I've always done. And after watching lots of film and kind of analyzing my different kicks, it's just that jab step was kind of always inconsistent. Not just the previous year, but also my rookie season as well. So, like I said, the more variables and different things I can kind of eliminate, just to keep things more kind of consistent and concise, I think it'll be better in the long run. So that's kind of why I decided to make a change.
Anything else, guys? All right, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
We'll have Greg Joseph in.
More important than us. I don't know.
It's just cool to have my son at his first training camp. So we're taking in the memories and just taking it day by day. 7 months, so brand new. So first training camp.
I guess, what led you here? Why did this opportunity, why was it appealing to you?
The culture here, the guys in the locker room, and the coaching staff, that I know and have a relationship with. Super exciting place to be, and always admired it from afar. So once that opportunity arose, I knew I wanted to be here for sure.
What are your initial impressions of Moody? And obviously he's a competitor, but I'm sure it's not like you guys don't talk or anything.
Yeah, no, I have nothing bad to say and never will say anything bad to say. It's just I focus on me. I know how I'm doing, strength-wise, kicking-wise, accuracy-wise, etc. I don't think I have the capacity to focus on everything at once, so I focus on me. And I know if I do well enough, then that's all I got to worry about. So obviously, good kid. The whole group has a good relationship. It's fun to work with vets like Weeks and Tommy, and get back with Tommy from last year, and then obviously worked with Boyer a bit. So it's good to be back with the group.
What's camp been like for you?
It's good. Good getting acclimated. I couldn't wait to get back to the locker room with all the guys and just get back to work. I'm a process-oriented guy. I follow my routine, and there's nothing quite like the routine at camp. So it's good to get back here and get to work.
Anything, Jared? Seems like there's almost a brotherhood of special teams guys. You guys know guys from other teams. They know you.
Absolutely.
Is there any prior relationship with Jake Moody at all? Did you ever met him until you got
Just
here?
no, just played against him. I think we played against him in 23, and that was it. That was my only time, meeting him, and obviously, very shortly talking to him, just pregame, postgame. So no prior kicking sessions or anything like that.
Is there ever any trading of strategies or approaches and stuff between guys competing for kickers, or do you guys do different things so that would help any?
I think if there's something that affects everyone, like the wind, we could talk it out, but everyone's so different, at least in my experience, that I've competed with, that obviously I want to win the job, right, and that's why I'm here. But I'm also not someone, I want to win it fairly. I'm not someone to shoot someone in the foot or go behind someone's back or anything like that. So I think anything I can help with, I try to be, I said this to Coach Day One, I'm here to be a resource to the young guys. I'm here to help the team be better, and that's my only goal, is to help this team win games. But I also never want to overstep, as I'm sure he does and there are other competitors, guys competing across the league. I don't want to mess with anyone like that. I know if I hit the ball the way I've been working on hitting the ball and, how I plan to hit the ball, then, I should be on this team, and that's it, period. Just full confidence in me and what I do, and focus is on me. So long-winded answer, but you get where I'm coming from.
How long does it take to develop a rapport with a snapper?
I'd say with a guy like Weeks, shorter than most, just because he's a pro. He's consistent, he's accountable, and he wants to get better, and he wants to make it right for you. So those guys make my job so much easier on a day in and day out basis. I tell Tommy, just, hey, put the ball down. I'm going to kick it, and obviously plan to make it and do my absolute best to make it. So they definitely make my job easier. And I think with younger guys, maybe it might take a bit longer, but I'm going into year 8, and I'm one of the young guys in the room. So definitely good guys to be around, and I just try to pick something from their brains each and every day and take that, implement to my game, and keep it moving.
Are you a 2 or 3-step guy?
3. Let's hear it. Yeah, I'm a 3-step guy.
3-step guy.
Yeah.
Have you always been that?
Since college, yeah. College, I was a 2-step guy, and then I was working with a coach after, and we implemented the jab step, and I've had it ever since.
Is that Moody's talking about he went from 3 to 2. Is that a
Personal preference, comfort type thing, I believe. I think there's obviously a couple two-steppers across the league, but most will be take that little jab step to make it 3. Yeah, so I think it's what I think guys have even, flirted with both throughout their career, and it's whatever you're comfortable with, whatever you feel gives you the best chance to make the kick.
How do you approach a missed kick?
On to the next one. The same as a made kick.
I can't remember who it was that talked about this kick was. He said, I walk over to the sideline, drink a cup of water, throw away the cup, I've thrown away the kick.
Exactly. And I've worked a lot in the mental part of the game because once the ball's left my foot, whether it's good or not good, that rep's over. I can't control it anymore. So obviously if it's a positive like the first couple of the day or a negative, like the one I had the upright on or something, it's you keep it moving, you flush it, and you just don't. I think when I was younger, you might let it, tumble a little bit and affect the future kicks, but you can't do that. It's one. I don't even take it one game at a time anymore. It's one kick at a time, and if you have a unfavorable outcome on one, oh well, chalk it up to being a fluke. Keep it moving because I'm better than that. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Sorry for keeping you guys.